by way of knockout. He hails from right here in Houston, Texas. Help me welcome Maurice, the Stealth Bomber, Doherty.
He used to be the Brown Bomber. He's now the Stealth Bomber, Maurice Doherty, the 41-year-old who had 10 years in between fights until you guys at Browning Boxing brought him back at the end of last year. And Maurice has won his last 2 fights here on Browning Boxing. Maurice facing Tremaine Hines, who is 1-3-1 as you take a look at the tail of the tape. These guys are fighting as cruiserweights tonight, scheduled for 4 rounds, and we are underway. Maurice Doherty in the blue with the white trim, and Tremaine Hines from Lubbock, Texas via Oklahoma City in the green with the white trim. Hines is new to everybody here on Browning Boxing. Jim, what do we expect here from him against Maurice?
Well, you know, when you're 41 years old like Maurice, just getting in here is a step in the right direction. Hines is a young, tough kid. You know, he's had a tough career as a fighter. He's had 1 win in 5 professional fights, but he's a good, strong kid and a test, certainly, for the 41-year-old Daughtry.
And Maurice looks in the best shape we've seen him here in 3 fights. Maurice wanted to say hi to everybody at Valentino Restaurant on Fannin, including Michael Valentine. Maurice plays the piano over there Saturday nights. If you can't get enough of them boxing here on Browning Boxing, they mix it up. Not much harm done there. Maurice coming in. Hines catches him.
Maurice is, you know, he's got an awkward style, but he's got a lot of quickness for a guy his age, and he's surprising the young man here a little bit.
If you haven't seen Maurice, he tells everybody he's living a dream. This is probably his toughest test in his 3 fights here on Browning Boxing.
You know, it's every time you come out here, you got to. Maurice is scoring some point here a little bit. Hines is obviously.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about these guys, Bob? We haven't seen Maurice in a while. Refresh our fans' memory.
Yes, well, Nidal Lionheart's making his pro debut after limited amateur experience here and facing up against the Stealth Bomber Maurice Doherty, who needs little introduction to Browning Boxing fans.
Nidal does, and he's got some boxing roots in his family.
74 pounds. He's fighting his professional debut, ladies and gentlemen, from Duke, Texas. Help me welcome Nidal Lionheart.
Nidal actually from Houston, Texas. He's got a relatively famous cousin, at least here in local boxing ranks.
Certainly, cousin of Ahmad Abdeen, world-class heavyweight. You can see him up there in the corner if we pan over there.
He's just fresh off of, was the first-round knockout?
Third-round knockout of Tony La Rosa up in Detroit.
So be careful if you're hanging out around Detroit. You can get knocked out by Abdeen if he sees you. And in the meantime, that is the face of the 41-year-old Stealth Bomber, Maurice Doherty. He's a piano player. He's a little bit of everything. Tonight, he's attempting to improve on his 2-3 record. So far, he misses with a right. He's working on his house. Maurice with a big right, pops the mouthpiece.
Professional debut from Ruff, Texas. Help me welcome Zelvin Tilley II.
And that is Maurice's opponent, Zelvin Tilley, making his pro debut. But Maurice is the story here, Bob.
Yeah, Maurice Doherty, you know, there's a lot of pressure on him right now. I feel it for him. He's pushed himself. He's a great self-promoter, but puts a lot of pressure on you, and I hope Maurice is up to it here tonight.
He turned pro back in 1986, his first pro fight. He took it on 3 days' notice. You didn't put him up to that, did you?
I may have been involved.
Quincy Taylor, there's a name boxing fans will remember. The future champ KO'd him in the first. And Maurice learned a very, very quick lesson about being prepared to fight. Second fight was against the guy Houstonians know, Thomas Tate, in '89.
Another world-class fighter.
And Tate beat him in the 3rd round. Maurice was suffered a dislocated shoulder and called it a career until tonight. So let's see how he does against Tilley.
Maurice is a quick-handed fighter, you know, even at this extended age. Got to see, Tilley has not had a lot of experience, but you can see he's an athlete.
His dad was a boxer, and Zelvin says he doesn't remember Dad's record, but he knew Dad won a lot more than he lost. Passed away, unfortunately, last year from cancer. Zelvin says he'd be proud of tonight's debut.
Yeah, Maurice just needs to let this young kid kind of run himself out of gas. He doesn't have much experience.
Fighting his cruiserweights, this is the first of 4 rounds scheduled here at the Radisson Astrodome. Maurice doesn't look like a 41-year-old in there. He looks like he's in pretty good shape.
I wish I looked like that when I was 41.
Your wife said the same thing.
Thank you. But no, Maurice was always a quick-handed fighter. You know, he puts it out. A nice right hand to the body. That's what he needs to do, Doherty. He needs to take the experience that he has, which is a lot of over a long time, and let this young kid burn off all this nervous tension and everything. This kid is trying to drop a right hand on Maurice, but
Maurice has got some skills. You can see it, but Zelvin so far not afraid of him, coming right at him. Zelvin said he was going to be aggressive, and he's doing it.
Yeah. He's aggressive, but he hasn't landed a punch yet. Maurice has landed 2 nice right hands to the body, and that's what he knew going in.
Oh. Maurice catches him with a right, but Zelvin recovers.
Yeah, nice right hand by Doherty. Caught Zelvin Tilly coming in.
Judge Bish scores about 39-37. Judge McCullough scores about 38-38. Judge Stoner scores about 39-38. For the winner by split decision, the Brown Bomber, Maurice Doherty.
The 41-year-old fulfills his dream and wins a close fight.
Oh, that's a heck of a fight for Maurice. He really pulled it out. He had a lot of pressure on himself, but it was a good, hard, tough fight. Hard-fought fight, split decision.
He turned pro in 1986, and tonight he closes out the 1990s with his first professional win.
Is only a piano player, you don't know the half of it. You see, Maurice Doherty, the piano player, is also Maurice Doherty, the pro boxer.
It helped me as far as rhythm, as far as relaxing in that ring, as far as pacing myself, as far as thinking on an even level. It helped me tremendously.
After a 10-year layoff, Doherty has relaunched his boxing career, and thus far he's 2-0 with 1 knockout. But at age 41, he's now the old-timer among his peers.
21, 22, 23. Who wants a 40-year-old guy kicking your butt? No one. And that's what I like about it. It's a challenge.
When Doherty decided to get back in boxing, he says he was an overweight 199-pound piano player. Now, he's down to a trim 176.
There's a lot of people out there right now. They're overweight. They have dreams. They want to do things. They feel it in their heart. But they're worried about what people think. I want to inspire people out there. If I touch just one person, that's enough.
Maurice has his talent on display at the piano every Saturday night here at Valentino's on Fannin. But if you'd like to check out his talent in the ring, you can do that tonight at the Astrodome Radisson Hotel. Matthew Cole, 11 Sports.
Just getting tuned up, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. Inspiring a lot of people.
Jason Churchwell.
And Bob, the guy that Jason Churchwell is going to be fighting, boy, he made a lot of fans here in Houston at the end of last year. The Brown Bomber, 41-year-old Maurice Doherty.
Yeah, I always tell everybody we're going to see Maurice on one of those infomercials for self-promotion. He does a heck of a job.
Did a heck of a job in his first fight in 10 years, taking out a young, tough guy, Zelvin Tilly, last November on our last show of the year here at the Radisson Astrodome. And Maurice's been in the gym, or has he been out promoting himself?
Probably a combination of the two. But he works hard. Listen, at his age, he was telling me, oh, the weight's just falling off me. It's just falling off me. And then he called me back and said, oh, I haven't been able to get my weight down, but at our age, usually in the 40s, it just doesn't come off like it used to.
There you had a good look at the tail of the tape. We're scheduled for 4 cruiserweights. Our second fight of 5 here at the Radisson Astrodome. Browning Boxing and Channel 51. Glad you're with us. There's the bell for round 1. Maurice in the blue trunks with a white trim. And his opponent, Jason Churchwell, wearing the navy.
Churchwell's a game fighter, just coming off a 4-round decision loss to an undefeated fighter up in Memphis.
Maurice showed a lot of movement early in his first fight, and then kind of slowed down as the 4 rounds. And being 41 took its toll on him a little bit, but he What a tough decision in his first fight back in November.
No, he really did. Maurice really had to suck it up in that fight.
He showed a lot for a guy who hadn't fought in 10 years. He comes in hard there but doesn't land. Churchwell does a good job of tying him up.
Churchwell's a come-to-you fighter. It was advertised, they said, face first.
Maurice definitely pushing the action here. Churchwell countering and missing, then landing a right and a left. Off balance a little bit. Maurice ties him up. Brown Bomber wanted to say hi to everybody at Cartem. Hard right to the body by Maurice. He said he's living a dream at 41 to be a professional fighter.
Well, I always tell Maurice, so don't set the level so high. I mean, he's talking about he wants Roy Jones. He just hurt him with the right hand. He hurt Churchwell.
Let's see what he does. Looks a little dazed in there. But standing his ground. Love that fight, yeah, Antonio. Maurice coming after him hard now.
Yeah, I think Maurice's people said, look, you're the bigger, stronger guy. Go out there and be the boss. Don't let this guy come to you.
Definitely a fight, Maurice.
It's just not Maurice's style. Maurice he's a stick and move guy. A little slick. He never was a heavy puncher. But there you see, he's trying to wait till Churchwell covers up and then shoot from there. Feign him into that defensive position. And big right hand. Big right hand by Doherty.
Churchwell saying it didn't hurt me, but everybody here knows it did. Going hard to the body now. Maurice definitely taking over this fight.
Yeah, Maurice is really manhandling Churchwell here, and I think the body is where Churchwell is more susceptible even to the head.
Maurice is a professional piano player. He wanted me to tell all his fans out there. Right now, he's doing a number. Name that tune, Jason Churchwell. It hurts.
Churchwell is really, he's not the most skilled kid in the world, but he's at least, he knows if he doesn't come to Doherty, he really doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to fight backing up at all.
Well, if Maurice is super aggressive, this fight could be over. And he catches Churchwell coming in and staggers him. Bobby Gonzalez says, give it a minute.
I think the only thing Maurice is super aggressive on is self-promotion, and there another body shot really doubles over Churchwell.
Churchwell didn't bring a whole lot of legs into this fight, but what he did is just about gone from those body shots. There's that right. The Brown Bomber landing at will here in round 2. Maurice says he wants to fight every month this year, wants to stay active. And he's plenty active right here in round 2.
Shine on Churchwell a little bit, but you can still see the ring rust on Doherty because he's
body shots. Just too many of those hard shots from the ring. Churchwell is giving him the count, and he's up. I don't know how much more of this Jason Churchwell won. Apparently at least a little more. And he survives until the bell sings and for many more body shots in round 2. This round brought to you by Browning Boxing Online. Check them out at www.browningboxing.com. There's the bell for round 3. Alan Litvak, Bob Spagnola. A Browning Boxing production here at the Radisson Astrodome. A fight that midway through it, Maurice Doherty's in charge of, but Churchwell trying to make it a little interesting here at the beginning of round 3. As we bring you a little wrestling. And now Maurice goes back to what he does best. And down goes Jason again, the youngster from Oklahoma City. The blows starting to accumulate.
Yeah, the first
enough, Bob. Well, he came a long way from Oklahoma City, and he'll feel this fight tomorrow when he gets home as the Brown Bombers celebrate win number 2.